All righty, Rich, it's 8:18, a historic week between the U.S. and Cuba. Monday, Cuba's flag was raised at the country's embassy in Washington. It signaled a new beginning for both nations. With full diplomatic relations now restored, you may be wondering, can I go visit? Well, much has changed since new regulations were announced in January, though we can't just hop a plane and go. Joining us right now to help answer your questions is Margie Jordan of Jordan Executive Travel Service. Welcome to the morning show. Good to have you here.
Thank you so much.
All right. There's got to be a specific reason to go. You can't just say, hey, I want to go see a hotel and sit at a resort there.
You're absolutely right. There has to be a specific reason. You can go for educational purposes, which most Americans are going now on what's called a people-to-people trip. And you can go over and you have a full-time activity each day of interacting with the Cuban people and the culture there.
And that's what Carnival's going to do. That's how they're getting around some of the regulations with their cruises that are set to begin in August or September. But suppose you just want to go like on a regular vacation. Is there any other way to circumvent the system?
You can't really do that just now. You can't go for a leisure vacation. You can't go and lay around on the beach and spend some time enjoying that nightlife. You really have to go for educational purposes. You can also go for like performing arts if you're in that sort of field and you want to go over and take a sports team or, you know, a theater company or something. You can go for those reasons as well.
How about if I have family there?
Yes, you can. You can.
All right. Now, you know, it's not going to be as simple as hopping on Expedia or going to the travel agent and saying, okay, book me this flight. You kind of have to use a third party?
Yeah, it's a little more complicated. You won't find those Cuban flights available on any of the airline websites right now. You actually do need to work to a third-party vendor, a tour operator, and a travel agency can actually help you get there as well. So it's not as simple as just hopping online and booking that trip to Cuba at all.
And even if you do find the right way to get to Cuba, the right reason, and are allowed into the country, you've really got to do your homework because some simple things that we take for granted, like using your credit card, ain't going to happen.
Absolutely. Our credit cards are not working over there yet. And some of that infrastructure over there isn't able to accept credit cards. The mom and pop stores aren't really able to take your credit card, so you'll have to go with cash. And even consider when you're exchanging money, there's two forms of currency there. We're using the convertible currency for the tourists, and then the pesos are used by the locals. You want to make sure that when you're actually getting change back, what you give them is what you're getting back, because one, the Cuban peso is 25 times less valuable than the convertible currency, so you want to make sure you're getting the same thing you give.
And you also told me something that was interesting that I didn't know, that if you do go over there, engage in any kind of financial transactions, you've really got to be a good record keeper.
Yes, you have to keep records of everything you did, what you spent, your receipts for 5 years after the date of transaction. Well, in case there's a question about why you were there and what you did, because now we don't have to fill out all the paperwork to go to Cuba. Before, for one of those listed 12 reasons, you had to fill out a ton of paperwork. You don't have to do that now. You kind of self-certify. But if there's a question as to why you were there, they want to see your activities, your schedule, what you did, what you purchased, and make sure that your trip was really what you said it was.
Is the door to open travel just around the corner, or are we a ways away?
I think we're a ways away. There's still a lot that needs to happen before we can just go. So I think we're looking at least a good 5 to 7 years before we can just go for that leisure vacation.
All right. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much.
Good advice. And that's one of the places on my bucket list that I'd love to go. For more information about traveling to Cuba, just head to news4jax.com and look under the morning show page. I'm going to text Uncle Fidel, Jen.
All right. Good luck on that, Bruce.